Good morning. Let's come to order and go on the record. I am Karen Kimmerite, Chair of the North Carolina Utilities Commission. And with me this morning are the following commissioners: Floyd B. McKissick Jr., William M. Brawley, and Donald Vandergaard. I would like to introduce our newest commissioner, Commissioner Vandergaard. This is his first staff conference, and I know everyone is happy to see him here. So we'll move forward with our staff conference now. In compliance with the State Government Ethics Act, I remind members of the commission of their duty to avoid conflicts of interest and inquire as to whether any member of the commission has a known conflict of interest with respect to any matters coming before the commission this morning. Okay. Seeing none, we will proceed with public staff item number 1.
Good morning, Commission. I am Evan Lawrence, an engineer with the Public Staff's Energy Division. I will be presenting item 1 today. Item 1 consists of an application by Timbermill Solar, LLC for an amended CPCN. The amended application meets the requirements of NCGS 62110.1A and Commission Rule R864, and therefore the Public Staff recommends the Commission issue the amended certificate. Thank you.
Move approval of the petition as recommended by public staff, subject to any technical, non-substantive revisions that may be made in the final order.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the item be approved as recommended by the public staff. Are there any questions or discussion from the commission? Okay, Commissioner Vandergaard.
Just a couple of background questions since this is my first time. I just wanted to get it in context.
Commissioner Vanderbilt, make sure your microphone is on.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. So these are just some, I think, background questions. On the battery storage component of this, are there any enhanced firefighting requirements that are required of the facility? I know other states have some. I just didn't know.
I'm not aware of any that the state would have, but I'm not saying there aren't any. Just not aware. I know that I have seen in the past that specific facilities.
You might want to take a look. I mean, a lot of states have additional training and outreach for operators to understand the hazards of these, the potential fires and the difficulty in putting them out. On the solar side, they're subject to a decommissioning plan? Have they put one in?
I'm not aware if they have.
But there is a requirement because they came in after, I think, a certain date. Am I right about that?
I believe that is correct.
Let me interrupt. If there is a representative of the applicant for Duke available to answer these questions, they may come up to the microphone and provide some additional information.
In particular, I was interested in the financial assurance component, which one they're offering.
Good morning, Commissioners. Merrick Parrott with Parker Poe Adams and Bernstein here today representing the applicant Timbermill Solar. I believe you're referencing the state statutory requirements on decommissioning. The project will meet all state statutes requirements on decommissioning plan. I am not aware of the specific financial option they've chosen to meet that statute.
Okay. Okay. So they have to, well, I'll look I thought the compliance will happen before they construct, I guess.
Correct.
Obviously. Okay, that's all I have.
Okay. So we have thank you, Ms. Merrick. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The application is approved. Thank you. So we will move to public staff item number 2.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Tommy Williamson, engineer with the Public Staff Energy Division. Item 2 is an application from Duke Energy Progress for approval of a certificate of environmental compatibility and public convenience and necessity, and a motion for waiver of notice and hearing to construct approximately 395 feet of new 230 kilovolt transmission line in Buncombe County, North Carolina. The public staff has reviewed the application, recommends approval for the certificate, and granting the motion for waiver of notice and hearing as filed, including its amendment and including non-substantive changes proposed by commission staff. Thank you.
Move the item as recommended by public staff, subject to any technical revisions that are non-substantive in the final order.
Second.
We have a motion and a second that the item be approved as recommended by the public staff. Are there any questions or discussion from the commission? Okay. Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. So we will proceed with public staff item number 3.
Good morning. My name is David Williamson, engineer with Public Staff's Energy Division. Item 3 is a joint request by Duke Energy Carolinas and Duke Energy Progress for approval of its residential electric vehicle time of use rate tariff as a pilot and the subsequent request for withdrawal of the off-peak charging program. The public staff has reviewed the request for approval of the application filed on April 15th of 2025 and recommends approval as filed.
Recommend approval of the item as recommended by public staff, subject to any technical non-substantive revisions in the final order. Madam Chair, I do have a question at the appropriate time.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and I think there are a few questions. The first question I have relates to the period for the pilot program that's been recommended by Duke and by the public staff. The OPC program had been recommended, the pilot had been for a 24-month period, and I just want to double check, that's my understanding at least.
That's right.
Excuse me, it recommended a 36-month period, is that correct?
I think the off-peak credit program and the new time of use EV both have a 36-month. They will be accepting participants for the first 2 years, but to ensure that they can have 12 months of data for all the participants, they're going to cut off that participation either at the first 20,000 participants or that 24-month mark.
Okay. So both programs, the original one and then the current one have been,
That's
the
my
pilot will be for
understanding.
36 months.
That's my understanding, yes.
And how will the customers who are participating be notified about this being potentially a limited pilot program for only 36 months? How will they receive that information, if you know?
I'm sure that there will be some marketing that goes out for customers, that the company has an idea that they're EV customers or just postings on the webpage. I'm not entirely sure about the full marketing tactics for this program. That potentially may be in development still, waiting on approval of the program.
Okay. Thank you. I think that there will be a few more questions. If there's a representative from Duke available who can add any additional information, that would be helpful. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Jonathan Bird, Managing Director of Pricing and Rate Design at Duke.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Bird. And can you provide some information about the marketing for this pilot program, and then also if you have any information about how customers will be notified or alerted that this will be potentially a limited pilot program for 36 months?
Sure, as you're aware, we do have other electric vehicle programs, so we would provide information about this rate option in the marketing materials for those, for any customers signing up for like Make Ready Credit or the other programs. Also just on our website with respect to the other options customers have on rates. So that's going to be clear for them on the web, as well as maybe some bill information that we could put in there as well. I don't think I have specifics on what happens at the end of the 3-year period, or when we get to the end of that, but we could make it clear that, hey, there's another option for customers to move to, and I think it would be something the company, public staff, and others could talk about what it looks like at the end of the pilot, what we've learned, and what might be the go-forward option for customers on this rate. But there would be other options for them to move to continue charging their vehicles off-peak and continue seeing similar savings as what they would see on this option.
And are you anticipating that this program will be fully subscribed, or is that to be determined about whether there will be sufficient interest for a fully subscribed pilot program?
I'm not sure. We've set the cap pretty high, so we hope for a lot of participation. I would say that customers who could save going on the proposed rates could also save similar or maybe even more going onto the critical peak pricing rates, which are already available. So long-term, I'm not sure which may be the preference. Certainly, either one would allow customers to move their EV loads off-peak, which is good for the grid. On the critical peak pricing option, customers could also do things with their air conditioning and so forth. I think that's what we're hoping to learn, is how customers may pick one or the other, and how we're able to move customers onto this rate.
Okay. And Commissioner McKissick?
And my questions are also focused on the marketing, because I wasn't quite sure how that was going to take place. I mean, I gather, registration of vehicles that are electric vehicles can be obtained from DMV, but I don't know what that outreach is going to look like, because in order it does say that you are kind of identifying and going after EV owners, and I didn't know how you plan to segment that market. And likewise, if an EV owner doesn't, say, have a level 2 charger or something like that they work with Duke to put in or something like that, if they're just plugging it into a regular outlet, how do you really know that it's the EV that's charging? So if you can help me work through those issues in my mind, so I understand how an eligible customer actually is able to get these time of use rates, and how you plan to more effectively target that segment of the market to make sure this is a meaningful pilot.
Yes, Commissioner, that's a great question. So there's two, I think, buckets there. One is how we make it known to those customers. So if a customer is doing something else with the company, like filling out a home energy report, and they're getting an energy efficiency audit of their home, and they answer a question, hey, I have an EV, that's an opportunity for us to say, well, do you know about this rate? Or if they're starting service, we could ask in that context, do you have an EV? Are you aware of this rate? So there are multiple avenues there, certainly on the website, rate comparison. So that's kind of on the front end. There should be multiple paths for us as we interact with customers, learn they have an EV. We can put that in that marketing flow. On the back end, once they're owned, you ask a great question about if they have level 1 or level 2. So one of the main objectives of this program is to understand better the charging behavior, the amount of energy that customers are using for charging their vehicles. And so if a customer's on level 2, you see a much greater demand spike and a concentrated load profile. And so this program, the programs we proposed here, are between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. So we should be able to see level 2 data really clearly, those charging events during that off-peak time, and you might get 6, 8, 10 kW worth of load while that vehicle's charging. If a customer's level 1, they can still charge in that window. That's usually like between 1 and 2 kW, somewhere in there. That's much harder to tease out of the data, but what we would see is a volume uptick. So if you're a 1,000 kilowatt hour customer and you buy an EV, I would see you jump from 1,000 to 1,300. And if we can see that happening within those hours, that's how we can tease out what's going on with the EV. I would say we won't know specifically what kilowatt hours are for the vehicle, but we're going to pull that out of the interval data. That's the analytics that will happen on the back end. But customers will be charged those off-peak or discount hour rates regardless. So if they're able to charge during that period, they're going to get that lower rate. So it's beneficial to them. We don't have to tease that out, if that's helpful.
That provides me some insight, so I thank you for that. And I take it you'll be periodically submitting reports on the program, the pilot. What frequency have you all agreed upon for submitting those reports?
Annual frequency, and I think there's a number of attributes in the application that we're going to be reporting on.
Thank you.
Okay. And Commissioner Vandenberg.
Thanks. So, you all already offer a time of use program. Why are you offering a separate time of use program for electric vehicles? And it sounds like one of the features is that if I have an electric vehicle and I charge it during the peak period, the off-peak period, then I get a lower rate. But there's no downside, like there is in the regular time of use program, if I charge in the evening. Is that right?
So,
in other words, is there that, there's a kind of a gamble you're taking on
yes.
when you take the regular. Is there Is there a similar downside in this pilot program?
So two things. We do have other time of use rates. And so the other one that's more popular is a critical peak pricing rate, and it's got discount periods, off-peak, on-peak, and then a critical peak time. And so those prices during the on-peak and critical peak are much higher than the non-TOU rate. And I believe customers could go on there with an EV charge during the discount period, save an equivalent or maybe a little more than the two-part TOU that we're proposing today. And I think if you look at the specific pricing that we're proposing and the non-TOU rate for this EV TOU option, the non-discount hours are priced a little bit higher. So when you say there's no penalty, there is a slightly higher price during the non-discount hours relative to the non-TOU rate. But there's no
So is there going to be
significant on-peak.
So is I guess my question is then what are you offering that's different?
I think it's a very simple, Mr. Williams was commenting on window. It's a very simple 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. window. Most of the EVs can easily be programmed to charge only during that interval.
What I'm trying
So
to
it's-
ask you is
yeah.
what's different about this than from the regular, well, here's my concern.
Sure.
My concern is that the regular ratepayers are going to be asked to pick up whatever costs are associated with this when they don't have access to it unless they have an electric vehicle. However, everybody's got access to your time of use program. So I'm trying to understand why we would want another time of use program when we already have one.
Right. So the rate structures that are available to customers, whether it's time of use or just the flat rate, that's not necessarily going to be a charge to customers. That's just a way to recover the revenue requirement for that rate class. And so you have a subset of customers that are EV customers that have different load profiles. And so this rate tariff will be a way to kind of better isolate, based off their load profile, the best way to recover that subset of rate base.
Yeah, that's like non-responsive. I can't understand that. What I'm asking is, I've got a time of use program that you offer, and the way I think it sort of makes sense is that I get penalized when I'm running my dishwasher at night, right, instead of during the day. So there's an offset there, and I presume there's sort of an equivalence here. Are you telling me that there's a similar equivalence and that the rest of the ratepayers will not have to pay one extra dime for this pilot program? Or if this pilot program goes commercial, let's say, there won't be any additional costs to that are spread across the rest of the ratepayers? That's what I'm asking.
I think let me try.
Simple question.
It's a good question. So we thought about that a lot, and we've run analytics on all of our customers in the residential class and where they could save on different rates. Most of them could save by moving from the non-TOU to our existing TOU rate already, including EV customers.
All right.
I believe there are some that are apprehensive about that move because of those on-peak high prices.
Correct.
And so this option is creating, I believe, a stepping stone to those other TOU rates for EV customers. And most importantly, we want that EV load to be off-peak. When we think about resource planning, customers coming home from work, plugging in a hot summer afternoon, we want that load shifted. That's going to create grid savings that accrue to all customers.
Yeah, I read that part.
Okay.
So why are you pushing the EVs so hard? I mean, why not just wait? I mean, if you can't accommodate the EVs, or people who have means who are buying these EVs can certainly pay for the power. I mean, is there some mandate that you are fulfilling by trying to make it more attractive?
So the reason we're here today, it stems back from both DEC and DEP's recent general rate cases. There was a signed stipulation approved by the commission to make a proposal for an EV-specific rate schedule. That was originally proposed with that off-peak credit program, and after some time and conversations and back and forth comments, a new proposal for a time-of-use-based program came about. And so to answer your question, is there any statute or law requiring it? There's not a statute or law requiring time of use rates, but there is the provision.
No, sorry. I get the time of use is just an effort to implement. What I'm asking is there
Right.
some sort of mandate for you to enhance the electric vehicle population?
Well,
Because right now, it's
I don't-
actually, it's going to stress our system because it's just more load that isn't there, right?
right. So there is from the recent general rate case was multi-year, and so it's performance-based rate making, there was PIMS, there was revenue decoupling for the residential class, there was earning sharing mechanism, all these different riders.
Right.
But there-
Is this are you thinking this is a benefit to the grid? I guess that's what I'm asking. You think it's a benefit to enhance EV population?
I think this rate tariff is designed in a way to better handle the load for that EVs that are coming online, to encourage them to be in those off-peak lower windows in the middle of the morning and the late night, early mornings.
All right. I'm voting against this because I don't understand why this is something that is potentially could cost the other ratepayers who don't have electric vehicles. I get it that you're trying to save the grid, but that's a problem that you've got to fix that doesn't include adding load to the system. And if you're enhancing the ability to add load to the system, you're exacerbating a problem. So I don't
May I
know
expand
why
on-
we would do that.
May I
Would you,
expand on one thing that Mr. Williams?
please go ahead and and
Okay.
provide any response you'd like, and then Commissioner Brawley has a
Well,
question.
If I may,
Okay.
I think I may clear some of this up because I want to reflect something I think I heard. In the order in the rate case, part of the stipulation was that Duke develop a time of use rate specifically for EVs. And this is a response to that stipulation in the rate case. Am I correct in that?
It is a response to the stipulation of the rate case, right?
So the reason you brought this forward is because this commission told you to do it.
That is correct. We're fulfilling that.
Right, but my point is this may not be the time of use tool that, I mean, they could bring back any time of use program that would satisfy that. And I'm not satisfied that this doesn't socialize some of the cost of the program. And I'm worried that the pilot program, I'm sure it's very, minor. But if this thing goes commercial, it could become it could become major. And so I'm trying to understand that now, before we get down that road and everybody gets too comfortable in a situation that is actually being subsidized by the non-EV owning ratepayer, which is what I'm most concerned about.
So I want to thank both of you for coming forward and answering the questions. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, any opposed?
Yeah, no.
Okay, the motion carries. Thank you again for your responses.
Thank you.
So we will move on to public staff item number 4.
All right, I appreciate the accommodation, Chair. My name is Chuck Junis. I'm the Director of the Water, Sewer, Transportation, and Telephone Division. Before Jesse goes ahead and presents item 5 out of order, because we have an engineer presenting 5 and 6, or 4 and 6, I'd like to introduce you to Jesse Dongera. He is our new engineer. He was a graduate of Currituck High School. Graduate of NC State with a bachelor's in science of biological and agricultural engineering. He then, he also interned with Stewart Engineering and DEQ, and then was hired after graduation by Wildlands Engineering, and then joined us on June 17th. And our approach is hit the ground running, and so he's going to go ahead and maybe say a couple words and then present item number 5 for you all.
Can you tell me your last name again? Dongera?
Yes, ma'am, Don Guerra.
Okay, great. And we are very happy to have you here today, and you are hitting the ground running. So if you'd like to say a few more words or introduce yourself further.
Fine, thank you. Good morning. I'm Jesse Don Guerra, engineer with the Public Staff, Water, Sewer, Transportation, and Telephone Division. Item number 5, filed by Watercrest Estates in docket number W-1021 sub 19, is a verified petition to the Commission pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 62-133.11 requesting authorization to amend its tariff to reflect an increase in the cost of purchased water from the city of Statesville. The proposed amendment seeks to pass the increased cost to Watercrest Estates customers located in Watercrest Estates Mobile Home Park in Iredell County. The public staff has reviewed the petition and recommends that the requested tariff revision be approved. That includes non-substantive changes made by the commission staff.
Move the item as recommended by public staff, subject to any technical, non-substantive revisions that may be made in the final order.
Second.
Okay. So we have a motion and second, and for clarification, you've presented for item number 5 only. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll come back to item number 4 is my understanding. Motion and second. Is there any questions or discussion from the commission? Okay. Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries, and thank you for the presentation for your first time.
Thank you.
Okay. So, Mr. Juice, we will now proceed with item number 4. Is that correct? Okay.
Good morning. This is Thomas Wilcott, engineer with the Public Staff, Water, Sewer, Transportation, and Telephone Division. Item number 4 regards docket W-354, sub 453. On May 9th, 2025, Carolina Water Service, Inc. of North Carolina filed a verified petition with the Commission pursuant to NC General Statute 62-133.11, requesting authority to amend its tariff for the purpose of passing along an increase in the cost of purchasing water service from the Fayetteville Public Works Commission in its Tanglewood South and East Gate service areas in Cumberland County, North Carolina. The public staff has reviewed Carolina Water Services petition and recommends that the requested tariff revisions be approved.
Move the item as recommended by public staff, subject to any technical, non-substantive revisions that may be made in the final order.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second that item number 4 be approved as recommended by the public staff. Are there any questions or discussion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. So we will proceed now with public staff item number 6.
Item number 6 regards docket W-1349, sub 0. Louisville Utilities Corporation, Inc. filed an application for a certificate of public convenience and necessity to provide sewer utility service to the lake at Lasara and the estates at Lasara subdivisions in Forsyth County, North Carolina, and for approval of rates. The public staff has reviewed the application and recommends that the Commission issue the proposed order granting franchise and approving the rates, which also includes the Commission staff's non-substantive changes.
Move the item as recommended by public staff, subject to any technical, non-substantive revisions that may be made in the final order.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second that public staff item number 6 be approved as recommended by the public staff. Are there any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we now have before us the minutes of our June 16th, 2025 staff conference for approval.
Move approval.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The minutes of the June 16th, 2025 staff conference have been approved. Is there any additional business for the commission this morning? Okay. Seeing none, we stand adjourned.